Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Distinguished colleagues and participants, Assalamu alaikum. Let me thank the Center for International Strategic Studies, AJK, for hosting this timely seminar. Today's session is not only about Conference on Disarmament, it is about restoring the principle of security for all in a system increasingly defined by selective restraint and strategic privilege. The CD remains the principal multilateral negotiating forum for disarmament, but it is jinxed into a logjam. It has not adopted a program of work since 2010. The last treaty it negotiated, the Comprehensive Tasman Treaty, is 3 decades old and has not entered into force. We are witnessing not a procedural delay, but deeper political interest at play. While the CD has not formally adopted a program of work in over a decade, structured discussions have resumed in recent years through subsidiary bodies. In 2025, the decision to reconvene these with updated mandates was reaffirmed. However, dialogue without convergence highlights the persistence of structural divisions that have prevented forward movement. CD was a body built for substance but has become a treadmill. Everyone runs, sweats, burns calories without moving an inch forward. This inertia reflects a global order where equity is negotiable, but dominance is non-negotiable. The CD was founded on the vision articulated in United Nations General Assembly's first session on disarmament in 1978 called SSOD-1, a commitment to general and complete disarmament under strict international control, pursued through non-discriminatory, verifiable, and equitable means. Yet today, this vision is buried under the weight of bloc politics, major power competition, and issue selectivity. Certain states insist on progress in their preferred agenda items, particularly the so-called Fissile Material Cutoff Treaty, while sidestepping legally binding commitments on space weaponization and negative security assurances. This strategic selectivity brings us to disarmament's central paradox. Those who demand progress often perpetuate the imperisms that preclude it. In this contradiction between rhetorical universality and practical exclusivity that has brought the CD to its present impasse. Pakistan remains firmly committed to the objective of global nuclear disarmament, but not on terms that entrench inequality. We believe disarmament must be universal, verifiable, and non-discriminatory. These are not semantic preferences. They are essential preconditions for durable peace. India's unsafeguarded plutonium stockpile alone exceeds 3,000 kilograms, according to Western estimates that tend to understate Indian capabilities. None of it is under IAEA safeguards, and it can be converted into at least 500 nuclear bombs, placing India third after the United States and Russia in terms of potential warhead count. Those advocating an FMCT must ask, can a treaty that ignores existing fissile material stockpiles be considered fair or stabilizing? Would anyone accept a climate treaty that exempts the world's biggest polluters? An FMCT that exempts accumulated stockpiles is equally unjust. Such a treaty would not be a step toward disarmament, it would be a leap towards strategic hedging. This is not obstructionism. Pakistan's principled rejection of an inequitable FMCT is not about blocking progress. It is about preventing a treaty that would codify global asymmetries and cement India's fissile material ascendancy in South Asia. Those who declared moratoria after accumulating large fissile material stockpiles now face no cost. They retain the ability to weaponize these stocks while pressing others to forego production. Such asymmetry institutionalizes imbalance, not disarmament. A treaty based on such terms would not be equitable, it would be destabilizing. And if equity must be explained further, Pakistan maintains only a full spectrum deterrence within confines of credible minimum deterrence framework. We do not pursue ICBMs. Our arsenal is designed to deter existential threats, not to project power or seek superiority. Let me also clarify our call for reciprocity. It is not transactional. Reciprocity means comprehensive legal obligations for all, including accounting existing stockpiles, not just future production. Of all the issues on the CD's agenda, negative security assurances should be the least controversial. They do not require disarmament, only a declaratory commitment by nuclear weapon states not to threaten non-nuclear states. That even this lowest hanging fruit remains unpicked speaks to the deep asymmetries in the disarmament discourse. If disarmament is to succeed, it must not erode the security of some to serve the comfort of the others. Now, a few words about prevention of arms race in outer space. Pakistan has consistently advocated for the prevention of an arms race in the outer space, not as a diplomatic slogan, but as a strategic imperative. We are party to all five UN space treaties, including the Moon Agreement, a distinction not shared by many, including India. India's anti-satellite test in March 2019 generated over 400 pieces of orbital debris in under 10 minutes, more than several states have across their entire history of peaceful space exploration. The debris has endangered civilian and commercial satellites. India's satellites targeting weapon capabilities even hold the satellites of its allies and partners at risk. India claims strategic autonomy and has not given any commitment not to hit satellites of its current partners. The American National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA) and Indian Space Research Organization's ISRO's Synthetic Aperture Radar mission, called NESAR, collaboration under the facade of scientific cooperation enables dual-use space technologies. Coupled with the relaxation of missile technology control regime guidelines for India, this integration fuels destabilizing capabilities that go beyond Earth's atmosphere. While Pakistan champions legal equity in space, others pursue dual-use alignments that erode global norms. Western proposals on responsible space behavior are narrowly confined to non-binding norms focused only on kinetic energy direct ascent anti-satellite weapons tests. This approach allows those who already possess such capabilities to retain them, while avoiding legal constraints on non-kinetic or future anti-satellite weapons tests and developments. It reinforces a division of haves and have-nots in space, limiting technological equity. Norms, however, well-intentioned, have failed to prevent these trends. Norms didn't stop anti-satellite tests. Only law can add to possible barriers to war in space. That is why Pakistan supports China and Russia's draft Prevention in Arms Race in Outer Space Treaty and continues to co-sponsor the annual United Nations General Assembly resolution calling for legally binding instrument. Negotiating a treaty on the prevention of the placement of weapons in outer space, called PPWT, is not just desirable, it is overdue. The CD's inability to adopt a program of work since 2010 is not due to lack of dialogue, but due to disproportionate focus on a single agenda item, the FMCT, while ignoring others like PAROS and negative security assurances. The 2009 FMCT push failed because it ignored regional realities. Let's learn from history. Today, emerging technologies, AI-enabled weapons, hypersonics, cyber tools, and counter-space systems are eroding the remaining boundaries of restraint. These technologies are not peripheral to disarmament. They are transforming the strategic environment in which disarmament must now occur. The CD's agenda should reflect these contemporary realities and incorporate emerging threats such as the military use of AI, autonomous weapon systems, and dual-use satellite networks. These developments are not evenly distributed. They are consolidated and consolidating in the hands of a few, further skewing global power dynamics and magnifying instability. A disarmament framework that tolerates selective acceleration in one domain while stalling others only accelerates global insecurity. To restore relevance, the CD must adopt a package approach, giving precedence to nuclear disarmament, PAROS, and negative security assurances. Any attempt to delink these issues will only reinforce mistrust and ensure continued deadlock. In closing, let me offer a few propositions. First, substance must replace symbolism. The CD must stop recycling agendas and begin addressing the core issues with legal intent and political honesty. It is time to step off the diplomatic treadmill and start walking a path of meaningful negotiation, starting PAROS and negative security assurances. Second, sequence matters. Disarmament cannot progress on one track while others are derailed. The imbalance of emphasis between different agenda items has paralyzed progress for over 2 decades. Third, equity is non-negotiable. For disarmament to be real, it must reinforce, not compromise, the security of all states, especially those living under regional asymmetries and doctrinal threats that are fueled by extra-regional powers. The bigger question is, will the leading powers lead by example, halting nuclear modernization, ratifying the CTBT, and engaging sincerely on prevention of arms race in outer space, PAROS, or remain architects of strategic stagnation? Pakistan remains ready to engage constructively, transparently, and responsibly, but our engagement will not be on the basis of selective obligations or strategic exceptionalism. It will be grounded in principled reciprocity, regional balance, and legal equity. If the CD is to be strengthened, it must reject hierarchies of security. Disarmament cannot be a mechanism of control. It must become an instrument of collective responsibility. Thank you.